I found the most beautiful apricots at the farmer's market, so I decided to put together this apricot tart. It is going to be incredible, and when you make it, your friends are going to be totally impressed. To get this started, we are going to cream together some powdered sugar. Just going to give that a little whisk to freshen her up a little bit. With room temperature butter. Pop that in there. And then I have a bowl scraper. This is a really great tool to have. You could also do this in your mixer, but I wanted to do this one by hand because not everybody has a mixer. And I wanted you to see that you can totally make anything you can make in a mixer by hand, almost always, because obviously back in the day, not everybody had mixers, and I didn't have a mixer until I met Matt, to be honest. So actually, when I was living in a studio apartment, like all I would think of is like the day that I'm gonna get a KitchenAid mixer, and it finally happened. Matt actually got me that mixer for our first Christmas together, and I got him a vacuum cleaner. I think we were destined to become like domesticated people. So with this one, you just want to break this up. And what I love about the bowl scraper is it's curved, so you can really get in there and do a nice job of creaming this together. If your butter is not room temperature, don't worry, we've all been there. What I do is I put it in the microwave. It's pretty much the only thing I put in the microwave these days. And then I rotate it every 10 seconds. So in about 30 seconds, this is about 2 sticks of butter. They were pretty much room temperature, and they didn't have that melty side business that you get when you overdo it. So 10 seconds, rotate it, and you're in business. After working this for a minute, trust me, I'm very, very thankful that I do have a mixer. But listen, you can do it. You can still do it if you don't have one. And if you do have one, just throw this in the mixer with the paddle, get it nice and fluffy, and move on with your life. Okay, this is looking nice and fluffy. So now I'm gonna add 3 eggs, one at a time. My little yolks broke, so I just let them fall in. People always ask, well, how do you do it one at a time if they're all together? But honestly, it just works because all the egg white pretty much stays together, and so they just kind of pour out. Now I have cake flour, and I'm adding some baking powder to that. Now I'm just going to mix this in. You always want to mix the dry to the wet. And then once this comes together, all I'm going to do is wrap it and then put it in the refrigerator until it's firm. Now I'm just going to cut all these beautiful apricots in half, just using a paring knife. If you don't have a paring knife, you need to go shopping. Very easy. There is nothing like fresh apricots. Growing up in Ohio, I don't even know if I ever saw one, to be honest. For the filling, it's gonna have this incredible almond flavor. So we're making an almond cream and mixing it with a pastry cream. So we're gonna be all creamed out, but it's gonna be incredible. I pulled out my stand mixer because this almond paste is actually a little bit too tough to deal with. You could also do this in like a mini food processor because you just wanna get this like the size of peas. So I'm gonna put that together with the paddle attachment and get it going. Pop in the butter. Mix that together and then add the eggs, followed by the almond extract, all-purpose flour, and then the almond flour. Mix that together and then just go ahead and set that aside. To make the pastry cream, heat up the milk. You just want it to be simmering, and then add the vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract, and then mix your eggs and sugar together. You want to get them to a nice pale yellow so they're nice and incorporated. Then go ahead and add those to the heated milk mixture. You're just gonna stir this just until it's nice and thickened, like a nice sauce. Looks gorgeous, all set. Okay, our pastry cream and almond cream is done. Now let's set up the tart shell. So this is your tart pan. So I'm taking some butter paper. This is actually just leftover butter paper for real. And I keep it in the freezer. So anytime I need to grease something, I just use the butter paper. So any of those like little leftover bits are perfect for greasing it. And then the paper, the wax paper that comes with the butter, it's perfect for getting in all those little edges. And now our dough. So I've got my disc. So I'm gonna put this in the center, perfect. And then I use the plastic wrap to sort of protect my fingers, and then I just press it in. You don't want it to be too thick. All right, so that looks good. I had a little bit of extra dough, so I'm gonna make a little mini tart. This is such a great little thing to do if you have like an elderly neighbor or you know, you just want to drop something off to a friend. We do have a really lovely, sweet neighbor that I always bring little extra things to. His name is Bill. He's the sweetest thing ever. All right, it is showtime. Let's put this thing together. We've got our pastry cream with our almond cream. I'm gonna mix that together. Gorgeous. So while I was just sort of finishing things up and cleaning up a bit, I threw it in the freezer just to make sure that it was nice and set. I'm gonna save some of this to do our little one for neighbor Bill. Now I'm just taking my tiny offset spatula and just smoothing that out. You don't need to go crazy. We're not icing a cake here. It's just so that it's pretty even for the apricots to go on top. And I've seen many different ways of doing this, but I like the cut side down because when I do this honey glaze, these are just gonna look like little orange buns of heaven. They're gonna be beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna put this guy on a sheet pan with a little parchment paper. Plenty of room for my little friend, and I have a little extra apricot that I'm gonna eat. Yum. So good. All right, 325, 30 minutes convection. Check it. You want this to look nice and puffed. You want your crust to be done, and then you'll probably go another 20 minutes. So set a timer for 30 minutes. If you guys have a normal oven and you're not using convection, do 350, all right? You guys, our tart is looking fantastic. This is the little mini one for neighbor Bill. To create the glaze, I just boiled a little bit of water, about a tablespoon of water to 2 tablespoons of honey, and then I'm brushing it with a little pastry brush. And then it's got its little gloss, which is gorgeous. I forgot to take it out of its little thing, but look at our beautiful crust, everyone. Gorge. I think neighbor Bill is gonna be very excited about this surprise. What about you? One of my tips for the glaze is don't glaze the crust, only glaze the center. That way your center really pops and your crust looks nice and crumbly and delicious. And the other thing too is, you know how there's like a million different kinds of these little brushes? I like the actual hairy brushes for pastry, and then I like the silicone brushes for savory stuff because you can just throw them in the dishwasher, but I just don't love them for sweet stuff. Perfect, all right, it's got a little shine. Oh my goodness, this is fabulous. Oh my gosh, you guys. Make it, you're gonna love it, I promise. Definitely make this, bring it to a picnic, bring it to a potluck, bring it to a barbecue, and let me know how it goes in the comments section. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much, bye.